Brandon, with the amount of chaos and carnage we've seen in recent years and come to expect at Talladega, I'm not here to advocate that we remove it from NASCAR's calendar entirely, but should it be on the Truck Series schedule? Is that really a track that the trucks need to be racing at? What's your take on that?
I've had too much fun with the truck. It's on the personal preference thing. I've had too much fun with the trucks at Talladega to want to rip it off the schedule, but I hate that for Greg Van Alst. And I mean, it's always going to be dangerous. There's always going to be accidents like that here and there, but is it somewhere the trucks don't need to be? That's up for consideration. But also in the same vein, if that's the case, then maybe the truck should have left Daytona years ago. As dangerous as it is, their very first race there would almost make you think maybe we shouldn't be here with Bodine. And back in 2000, I think it was. And there comes that year again, 2000, where Matt Crafton started at the end of the year. And I hate that for Greg Van Alst because he went from the highest of highs this year to the lowest of lows. But Talladega, it's kind of solidified itself along with the truck schedule, in my opinion. And I don't think you should take it away just yet. If we continue to see, I hate that because you don't want to do that. Well, if we continue to see tragic events, then maybe we'll consider it. But nah, I wouldn't go there. I think it needs to stay.
Well, Matthew,
do I have any reason to back it up? No, but
yeah. Well, Matthew agrees with you here, saying should Talladega be on truck schedule? Yes. How I think you fix this is to get rid of locking bumpers rule. I think it's the most senseless rule we have. Yeah. Should is a strong word. I don't think the Truck Series needs to be on super speedways. I just don't. I think the Truck Series, if you want to go back to its roots and how it got started in the 90s, it was predominantly on short tracks. And I understand, you want to have some companion dates and promote it alongside with the Cup Series. I get wanting to race it on 1.5 miles, but I mean, New Smyrna is right there to start the year in Florida. I think that would be a great kickoff for the Truck Series season. And then, I'll admit there's some personal bias here for me too. The very first NASCAR race I ever watched, I don't know if you know this, Brandon, it was the first ever Truck Series race at Talladega in 2006. Mark Martin won that day.
I remember that. I've seen the video, the John Deere something.
Yeah, John Deere 250. Yeah. And we nearly had we had a big accident. It could have been a lot bigger. 2 separate accidents, I guess, on the final lap happening simultaneously with Mike Wallace and Derek Cope there. So I'm sure there were some safety discussions after that one, but I can't recall. I don't have the numbers right up here in front of me. I think somebody said like 2009, 2010 was like the last time the Truck Series race at Talladega, whether it went into overtime or finished right on regulation, that it didn't have a 2-lap shootout finish the race.
Yeah, that does hurt. That is a good point for taking it away.
And again, I just feel like, and people know where I stand on overtime, and I know a lot of people disagree with that. They want to get green flag finishes no matter what. But if that's the trend, I mean, if you go a decade and a half without being able to string together more than a 2-lap run to the finish because you're constantly getting involved in some sort, I don't know. I just feel like that's not a very good track record. And a lot of these truck teams, this isn't a Cup Series, where these guys have Fortune 500 sponsors and unlimited budgets.
Right.
Think of a guy like Greg Van Alst. You know how much in a season, a whole season of pain here with what he's experienced in his opportunities he's gotten in the National Touring Series. And then to have something like this go out and happen to him, I mean, it's just, I hate to see it. And I feel like it's unfortunate because we have had some positive stories come out of these races, but there's also been a lot of negative ones. And I just feel like I don't think it's going anywhere. I think it's going to be on the schedule as long as, Truck Series is around and Talladega's around. I think that ship sailed in terms of, it being a permanent part of a schedule now. Maybe they'd move it to the spring or, if they wanted to put some sort of variety in there, I don't know. But I don't think it's a necessity. At the same time, I don't see enough just yet that says this is absolutely ridiculous. We absolutely should not be here. I'm not going to go that far, but it does hurt to see, so many trucks get torn up year after year and to, not be able to get so much as a more than 2-lap shootout to the finish. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, you make a lot of good points about that, but I would also bring up the devil's advocate there. If we went to New Smyrna with the trucks, do you really want the top 2 or 3 trucks with a 4 or 5 second gap and follow the leader as your event in Florida? Because I'm pretty sure that's what you'll get in New Smyrna.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair point as well. I from an entertainment perspective, I'm sure kicking off the season with the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series at Daytona would be a more popular move.
I mean, I love the World Series of Asphalt at New Smyrna, but
yeah,
come on, man. At the end of the day, they are just following each other around most of the time.
That's a completely fair point as well.
Matt,
yeah, Matthew, following up here on the locking bumpers rule, and again, I'm in complete agreement with you on this one, Matthew. If you can't lock bumpers, you now have to continually bump. At the end of the race, the bumps are going to get bigger, thus harder to control. I think that rule creates more wrecks. I'm completely with you. I think it's like the double yellow line rule. I think it has created more controversy and problems than it's solved. And what I can't stand is when this rule gets violated, both trucks or both cars in Xfinity, because it's not a rule in Cup. Imagine that, right? It's a rule in 2 other series, but how's that for consistent inconsistency, right?
Wow, I have an edge there.
When this rule gets violated, both cars or trucks get penalized. And if you're the lead car or truck, I mean, what are you supposed to do in that situation, right? I mean, I get it. You know, you're part of something that violates a rule in the rule book, but I just don't know what you're supposed to do. So that frustrates. I mean, if I'm the lead truck in a situation and somebody is locking my bumper from behind, I mean, what am I supposed to do to try to get out of that? And then they're going to penalize both of us and send us to the back of the pack or whatever. Like, I just, again, I think it creates more controversy than it solves. It causes more problems than it fixes.
Yeah, it'd be cool if Matthew Owens had the time constraints to be on this show, because that's an excellent point.
Yeah,
get rid of the bumps.
Yep, and our own Joe Samaniego chiming in here as well. After they did the first truck race at Daytona, I remember the rumors of trucks not returning, but they did, and dropped most of the short tracks. Well, again, I don't disagree. I think that ship has sailed in many respects, but hey, North Wilkesboro is back on the schedule. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on in the show because the mods are back there this weekend. A guy can dream, right? Put the trucks at New Smyrna, put the ARCA East cars back on the Daytona backstretch in the Battle of the Beach. You remember that?
Yes.
In the early mid-2010s?
And the mods. The mods are there too, right?
Yeah, get the mods there too. It'd be a lot of fun, I think.